in the diaspora is a dream that every African wishes to have. But it can as well be a curse for most Africans who travel in diaspora, who travel and live in diaspora. It all starts from the village or wherever a person lives, in the town or wherever place you come from, in your home. The excitement begins there, and you either get a scholarship, or you get a job, or you are traveling because you got a spouse, or somebody is going to marry you abroad. There are so many reasons that make someone to travel in diaspora, to the diaspora. And in most times, there is always a lot of expectations that people have. People make a lot of promises as they are leaving. They tell their family members how everything is going to change, how they are going to change their lives. There is so much expected by the people living back home. There is so much that people are expecting that you to achieve, that it even becomes impossible for most people when things don't work out for them to go back home. But that is not what I want to focus on in this video today. I just want to focus on the journey of going abroad. Let's say, for example, if you are traveling to Europe to be a student, the first thing that eats you when you go there is probably the bad weather if you're traveling during winter, or probably just a normal weather if you're traveling during summer. And there's always a change of environment, new people, new culture, new food, new everything. So people take time to settle down. In the process of settling down, a majority of the people never settle, even in the long run, because settling down really means you changing a lot of things about yourself, adapting to the new environment. For example, if you used to go to church, let's say back home, where people pray and sing loudly, where people were rowdy, where people were doing things their own way, most probably you may not find such churches in some places. Let's say, for example, if you are traveling to Germany or you're traveling to UK, you may find not as many churches like that as the ones that you left back home. And you want to continue with you don't even have, most times you don't even find your church, because the churches that are back home are different from the ones that you find in Europe. And people still want to continue practicing what they were practicing back home, instead of people adjusting into the new environment. We have a majority of people that end up never settling down in the long run, because they are always looking for what they left back home, something similar to what they left, from the food they eat, to the way they do their things, to even the way they do their relationships, to the way they work. They never want to change a thing. And that is what makes many people be drawn backwards when it comes to going to diaspora. It is supposed to be a quick change. You are in a new environment with new people doing things in a different way. You are supposed to adapt very fast, begin to interact with them, and go integrate yourself into the society that you found. But a lot of people, especially the ones from Africa, you come from Africa, you want to go to an African church when you get back to Europe. You just want to eat African food. You still want to relate with women or a man in a way that it happens in Africa. So you want your marriage to be the same as it was in Africa, which is impossible because the environment has changed. The environment has changed in such a way that even having a relationship can be trouble, can be very difficult. First of all, there are not as many women who have the same mentality as you left back home. The ones that probably, there are not as many women who can be, as they would say it, let me say submissive in quotes, as you would have found them back home. That's point number one. Then there may not be churches that look like the ones that you left back home. At the same time, there may never be as many men who behave like the ones you left back home as you would want them to be in let's say for example in Europe. Literally everything has changed. So it takes some people so many years. Some of them even take up to 10 years. Others never change. And that is what makes it so difficult for people to even ever get to live a life that is reasonable, because you refuse to change so many things, and that holds people back. You don't want to be open to anything. You don't want to learn the work culture. You don't want to understand what skills are needed for you to even work. You don't want to be in a society that is, you feel everything is so much for you. And let's not forget that you also have to work. Let's say if you didn't have a scholarship, or it's not a job that brought you to the diaspora, then you have to really work. And that in the process of doing all those things, it's only one person. Some people even get stagnated. You find some parts of you and some parts of the goals that you had, they stagnate. Let's say, for example, if you have to go to work every time, your education is slowed down. Things that you could have done in a very easy way take so much time for you to do them. If you were, let's say, for example, a student, you find it so difficult to finish your schooling. Then you have those bunch of people back home that you made a lot of promises to. How you would change their lives. How would you would make their life possible. And now you've come to an environment where yourself, you don't even want to change. You don't want to integrate in the society and do what people do to get money, or you don't even want to change in a way that makes you to be open to live in that society. You begin to work and you start investing back home. So you don't live in the diaspora anymore. Your mind is back home in everything. So what is there for you to enjoy? Almost nothing. Because at the end of the day, you realize that you've really stagnated in so many ways. You've stagnated so much that you don't really have a life that you are living. You're simply confused. And you follow your fellow Africans who are thinking like you. So you never get to hop into a society where you can learn the people that live in that society. How do they get jobs? What skills are needed for you to get that job? What is it that you need to do right from the beginning to be able to get integrated in such a society? So you remain isolated. Watch out for the next video for you to get much more about what makes it so difficult to be in diaspora.